Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion, and this here is my pal Sugar Cookie Chapstick. We do start our videos with chapstick here because it is important to keep your lips moisturized. So chapstick, bliss lip oils, whatever you use. But for me, chapstick is so inexpensive. It's like, why would I spend like 20 something on a lip mask? No, chapstick, y'all. I'm a chapstick hoe. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. I do call my channel the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube because of stuff like that. I just go on rants and tangents, and it's just like, just get to the video, girl. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need a certain brand or a certain tool or even a certain technique. Use whatever you want to use in whatever manner you want to use it. Yes, I was about to say something. I don't know what it was. So that's what that little hesitation, stammer, stutter thing was. It's part of my charm. I do it often. Hi. Thanks for being here. The bottom line here is self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but not because you feel like you have to. And also just loving yourself regardless of how wacky you may seem sometimes, and there's a lot of times I'm wacky. So here we are, and I thank you for being here. This eye is teary, had an allergic reaction to something yesterday, but we're still going to do what we're going to do today. I'm going to do an eye look later, and I was thinking about how in my last few videos, I don't know if they're aired yet, but it's 7 looks, 7 palette video, and the first 2 looks, I did the same base face, and then the next 3 looks, I did the same base face. And I remember saying how with the Rare Beauty foundation, I finally found a way to make it work, which was by just dabbing it on and not swiping it like all over my face. Because when I did that, it oxidized too golden for me. And so I figured, why don't I just show you like what I was talking about instead of saying, I did this, and you're like, okay, you can say it, but we don't know what you mean, kind of thing. So that's how I am sometimes. People say stuff and I'm like, but I want to see it. And so, excuse me. So what I've been using, because this has a wand, I don't need to use my palette to pump foundation and primer on. And typically I do pump the primer on a palette and I pump the foundation on top of the primer, make a nice little soup, and then tap it on. But because I don't have to do that with this, I have been just pumping. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I've been just doing this. My brows are done with the L'Oreal brow pencil. Doing this way with this primer, I don't recommend it because when I pump the primer onto the palette, I only do 2 pumps. And I find that when I do it this way, putting it onto the brush, I actually use like 3 pumps. I don't know why. I don't know. But I don't recommend it. But I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I'll make it 2 pumps out of this. Okay. This has a cooling effect for me. So when I first put the brush to my face, I can feel where it is. And I think we do have it this time. I might need a little more under here because this side is smooth and this side feels like it's dragging. This is a gripping primer, but it's hydrating at the same time for me. I did try the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, which is supposed to be a dupe for this. I'm gonna just put a light tap there and some here. That one, the e.l.f. one, it dried my skin out and my skin just felt, it was awful. It felt like if you plucked my skin, it would just crack into pieces. That's how drying that e.l.f. face primer made my skin feel. So needless to say, I'm sticking with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. And technically this one did expire January 2023. Today is March 18th, 2023. And I was hesitant to use it because I do have sensitive skin. And so I'm like, I don't want to have a bad reaction. But thankfully I have not. And so I'm going to continue to use it until I do, which is probably not a good idea. But the Milk Foundation, the primer, excuse me, 1.5 fluid ounces. Most primers is just an ounce, and most foundations are just a fluid ounce. So this is like a half ounce more than what you get with other primers and foundations. And so it lasts a long time. It does. So we have our primer on. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. This is 4N, and because the little thingy broke off, I use a lipstick applicator. This says to put over the foundation, and I do have the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place foundation, but because I don't like how the Rare Beauty foundation looks under my eyes, I just put the foundation, excuse me, I just put the concealer there. And so that's why we're doing this. And as you can tell, this is real time. I'm not speeding anything up. You're going to see everything I do. And this looks like a lot. Like, this is just like, girl, what are you doing? You like drawing a mustache? Let's do our Groucho marks. I'm just being silly right now. I usually don't do that. And so we're going to, throw this away because it's messy. Uh-oh. Okay. Ah! I dropped it on my pants. My indoor sweatpants. I have indoor clothes and outdoor clothes. And it fell on the carpet under the stool. So that's going to sit there until I get done this video. I take the same brush that I used for the primer, and I tap that around. I like what this does for my nose area because it is my actual complexion. It's a hair off for my under eye area because, as you saw, my under eye area does have discoloration and it is darker than the rest of my face. But watch how this looks when I blend this out. You see this? You see that? Like, this is the complexion of this part of my face. Like this part right here. And I'm not going to put any here because we're going to have foundation on. But I would just wear this out. I would. And it does self-set. You don't need to powder it down, but I do. It's just a habit. And actually, I powder it down because of the foundation I put on top of it. Excuse me. But look. So cute. You did. You know, I'm telling you, when you find a concealer that's perfect for you, stick with it. I don't put anything else. I don't try anything else. I do have the 4W that I tried for under my eyes, but it's a little bit lighter. Sometimes it does work if I do put the foundation on first, because then the foundation does go under my eyes. But typically, like, I would really just wear this out. I seriously would. You can still see discoloration under there, and that is absolutely fine because I have under eye discoloration. So to me, it does even me out a little bit, but it still looks like me. If this was a blank slate, to me, I would look weird because I know what I look like. And so what I've been doing is just tapping it. And not under my eye where the foundation was, but under, like, where the hollow is. And then I'll stick it back in, do a couple dots over here, do some dots here to bring that around. I went back in again, and this is a lightweight foundation, and that's all we're going to do. We're going to see what it looks like using the same brush. I do tend to just stipple first, or pounce, or whatever you want to call it. And just to kind of get the blend going. Because with some foundations, if you let it sit too long, it'll be hard to blend and you'll see, like, where I placed it. And so I do this first. And you notice I didn't put any on my nose, but I am taking the brush over my nose. And so that may be something you can try if you have a problem with foundation breaking up on your nose, which I really don't, but I know a lot of people do. It's just to not put foundation on your nose, or just whatever's on the brush on your nose. And so now I will go back, because you can see where it is and where it's not, particularly around my eyebrows, which I really kind of don't care too much about. But I will do that, and I will swirl to try to get it look as blended as possible. You can see right here, there's none that pink area. So I'll just bring this down. I really don't pay too much attention to stuff like that, because once the whole face is done, somehow things just always seem to just blend together and it looks okay to me, to my eye. Keep in mind I'm a troll, so I may have I may see things differently than other people. And so even though I only had the 2 dots here and the 2 dots here, it was enough. I still see some redness here. I might put a little bit more there, or I might not, because I noticed with this foundation, it does break up in my smile lines here, and it does accentuate texture under here from when I had the breakout. And even this way, you can see the texture around my nose area. I do have eczema issues, contact dermatitis issues from wearing a mask. I am using 2 new prescriptions, one for this area and another one for this area. But I have noticed this foundation does accentuate my texture, and so that's another reason I don't use a lot. But the main reason is the way I just did it. To me, this is like a perfect shade. The first few times I used it, it just looked way too golden. And I like the finish of it. I like how it feels. I don't have a bad reaction to it, which is always a plus. And so I wanted to find a way to make it work. I'm trying to decide if I want to purchase one when Sephora has their 20% off sale coming up in April. But I don't know, because I have the Estee Lauder ones that I love. I have the Fenty one that I love. And those are the only 2 I have open now. This makes 3. Actually, I only have 2 open. This one and the Fenty. I haven't opened the new Estee Lauder one yet. And so I'm not the type of person to have, you know, 5, 6, 10 foundations open. Maybe 3 at the most. The Estee Lauder, they last 24 months after you open it. And I actually do use them up. And I like that it does last longer. Most foundations is only a year. And so even though I didn't put foundation under my eyes, I do still take the brush after I've, you know, done everything you saw me do. And I will just tap that here. And I'm seeing a line right here. And it might just be in my hairline. When I do get foundation in my hairline, that line does not go away, because it's just darker there because it's in my hair. So even though I didn't put foundation under my eyes, I do just tap under there with the same brush. And look at this. This is it. And then what I do, I take the Hourglass powder. It's in this 3-pan palette, and it's also in the Elephant palette, the powder I'm going to show you. And it's this one, which is Soft Light. And let me back up. e.l.f. Buffing Foundation Brush. This is the Scott Barnes Travel Highlighter Brush. And so I kind of just wiggle it, get some more in here, and I use this to set under my eyes. This foundation, as I told you, it does break up on me. I do have wrinkles and all of that, and it does crease in my wrinkles. And because I took the foundation brush under my eyes, it will crease under my eyes. And so that is why I set it. Sometimes I don't set it when I use the Fenty, and sometimes I don't set it when I use the Estee Lauder, but I always do this with the Rare Beauty. So that is that. We're going to keep this brush to the side just in case I want to apply some more later, or just smooth out, or if I do get fallout, I'll just use the same brush and lightly dust it. So the next thing we're going to do, the Rare Beauty Set It Loose powder in Truly Tawny. I am almost finished this, and I am so excited. The POA on this is also 24 months, which I love, because I am sure to use this up, and like I am like almost done. And so it excites me when stuff lasts long. Big, monstrous brush. And I will just initially tap it, because I did just smoosh it all in. So I'll initially tap it and then just pounce it around my face. This is a setting powder. So this is what I use to set the foundation. This is a Scott Barnes brush number 67. And so again, I'm just mushing it in, leaning back in case it puffs up. And then just going around again. With this brush, I love it because I can do my whole face fast, but I have to be careful with the forehead and around my brows. And so I don't even do like this area here, because I don't want to disturb my brows. And so whatever's in the cap, then I will lightly just brush. And so, but Y'all look. When I find a routine I like, I'm just like, yes, troll, you did the thing. This also is what I did the last couple videos, and the first 2 times I went ham on what I use for a bronzer and also what I use for a contour. The last time I did this, I did ask in a video, like, what do y'all think? I finally think I nailed it. And as far as contouring, you can see where my facial structure has a natural hollow, which is where the contour would go. And we used, surprisingly, this is the Nessa Myrix, and it says Lightwork 2 highlighter palette. Hard to read it. I wish they had different a different color font. This entire thing is a highlighter palette. Go figure, right? Excuse me, breakfast. And I purchased this knowing some of this would not be highlighter for me. This is the one for medium to deep skin tones, and they did have one for light to medium. I have that as well, and it's more cool toned, and so that one is in my Macari store. This is a LaRouche dual fiber brush, and I've been going into Chai Tea, this shade here. This is messy. This palette is messy, and we are just tapping both sides of the brush. She hella messy, and I've been putting this here, and I'm turning it over because we coated both sides. And I've been putting that there. But once you tap it in and tap off, it's like all around the witchamajigget around the pan. And so this is the highlighter. Well, actually this entire thing is a highlighter palette, but this is the one I used for the highlighter in the last few videos. And I'm digging it. So we're gonna put that brush down. Then we're gonna take, this is a Beige Cosmetics brush, angled contour brush. It says I like it because it is angled, and I've been going into Sweet Saffron, this shade. Now remember, all of these are supposed to be highlighters. I've been using this as a blush. I have been using this as a blush because look at this, like this. And I do have to go back and forth because it is a highlighter, and so it's not that bam, you know, blush color. But I just think it is really pretty. And so I am glad that I have this. And then I do a swirl, and I'm overlapping the bottom part of where I put the highlighter. And so that is what that is looking like so far. Yo, I'm digging it. So this will work for you if you like your entire cheek situation to be shiny. And because these are all highlighters, these are all shiny. Then I've been taking Chocolate Milk. This one is dark. This one. So I've been taking, I just patted there. You see that? And patting it here. And I have to be careful with this one. And so then I'll go back and just kind of sweep it and feather upward a little bit. And the first couple times I did this, it was just like, girl. And I'm going in small circular motions because it looks like there's a patch right there, which I don't know if you're seeing it or whatever. But this is what I've been doing. This right here. I am excited to have this because I can use it for a highlight, blush, and a slight contour. And so that's what I've been doing with that one. And this is hella messy. So we're going to close this up. And then what I was doing was, and I will clean that later, is taking LYS bronzer, and this shade is Courage, and in parentheses it says tan, and it is their No Limits matte bronzer. But for me, this is like a contour. This is so dark on me, and it's cool toned on me. So let me find another. I don't think I meant to use that brush. Okay. Actually, let's take, I don't know. I shouldn't have said ugh. But we're going to take this brush. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because, just because. So I've been tapping in here and tapping off, and then I've been sweeping it here, going in again, tapping all, sweeping it here. And whatever's left in there, just kind of bringing it here and coming down. Bringing it here and coming down. So we are overlapping where we put milk chocolate. And so you see how it does create like that muddy look because it's cool tone. And that's what, and I got quiet. Sometimes I'm not sure where to put contour under the chin. And so I have to pay attention. Because I used to put it like right here and then that just looked weird. And I'm like, okay, I need to bring it like under the chin. And so, but this is what I've been doing. And so even though this says it's a bronzer, to me it's a contour because it's so cool toned. And I really think they need to work on their undertones. Bronzers are typically warm tone because this is how your skin would look when you get a tan. And so it would be warmer because the sun warms your skin. And then I've been going in, do the corners first, and then tapping across and going in small circular motions across. And so when I first tried this as a bronzer, it was way too muddy because I put it in this area here and it was, So I said, you know what, let me try it as a contour. And I do like it as a contour. So you let me know about this base face. And I am liking it. I'm gonna take a little bit and bring this here. Taking a little bit more because I'm still seeing like a patch right here, so I want to cover that up. Another thing I really like, actually I like all these products I'm using, but I'm going to use a finishing powder, and for me it does really just even everything out. If there's any lines, if there's anything that doesn't look quite right, for me it really does just blend everything together. And so what I used the last 2 videos, I used this brush. This came in a mystery bag from Sydney Grace, and I'm not liking it for finishing powder because it is so loose. Previously I was using this monster brush, and I do have 2 of these, but this one is just, it's too loose as a for finishing powder. I think this would be better used for me if I use it for a loose powder. So the finishing powder I've been using is Dim Light from Hourglass, and so trying to get the product on the brush is challenging because it's so loose, and so I'm finding I need to like almost damage the brush because I'm wiggling it every kind of way and smushing it in to get the product onto the brush, where something like this I can just smush it in and it gets where I want it to go. So you see how this just, oh my gosh, you see this? And so I'm turning it, I'm smushing it, I'm wiggling it, and then we're going to do this side. And so even where I kind of had this patch, look at what it does. It just blends everything together. And the Hourglass powders do typically have a little bit of shimmer to it, and so I don't put it here or like around my nose. But as far as like my cheek area and my forehead, it gives it a little shine without looking too shiny. And I think it's because of the shade, because there's another one I tried and I liked it, but to me it was a little more rosy, and I thought it made me look a little greasy. And I asked on Instagram, does this make me look healthy glowy or greasy glowy? And all the comments was healthy glowy. So I'm like, okay, so I still do use it, but I don't put it here because this part was just looking like pow, and it made it look shiny. But this is the base face that I've been doing. And I'm excited, and I think, is that cracking up already? I don't think it's noticeable unless I go like that, which I don't walk around and go like that. But anyway, we're going to take some more of that on the same brush. This is Hourglass Soft Light. And we're just going to just brush that there. I did not put dim light under here because it made my under eye look a little darker, and so it's really a challenge to find, for me, to find a powder for underneath my eyes that will look right, because if something is too light, it makes my under eye discoloration look grayish, and if it's too dark, then it makes it look darker. But this, I'm really digging it. So that is going to be it for this video. We're going to come back and do a look. What did we use? Did we use holiday? No, sugar cookies. I'm gonna take that out because I need to start that video with chapstick too. So thank you for being here for this video. Let me know what you think about the base face. If you have the Rare Beauty foundation, I neglected to mention this is 360W. My other foundation shades, excuse me, are down below if you think we might be shade twins. And I will say something, excuse me, about shade twins. For some people, some foundations we wear the same shades, and then in other ones we don't. And I think it's an undertone thing, either our personal undertone or the undertone in the foundations. And so I'm never just a strict shade twin with anybody. Some shades will wear the same, and then other ones it's either too light or too dark or too red or too tan for me. So that's, to me, it's always kind of strange. But I'm seeing a line right here. I'm going to end this video. This is weird. Like, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, so yeah, if you're using this foundation, let me know if it works for you. Let me know if it creases under your eyes, if it cracks up in your laugh lines. Let me know if it accentuates your texture. Because for me, like, it seriously does. And that's what's making me think not to purchase one. This came in a subscription box and it was my choice. And I am happy with it. And I do enjoy it for videos. But I don't think, you know, and I'm making a decision right now. I'm not going to purchase this because it does break up and it does accentuate stuff. But, you know, just for doing videos, yes, it is a keeper. So also let me know if you enjoyed the video. I can't think of another question. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this, I would love for you to subscribe and to click the notification bell and set it to all so you'll know every time I upload anything. It can be overwhelming because I do upload quite a bit. And so you might just want to go to your subscription feed and just find me there, or just go to my channel and find me there. Once in a while I do post things on my community tab, so be sure to check that at least maybe once a week. And that'll be it. And I appreciate all of you for being here. And click like, subscribe, share. All of those things are always very much appreciated. And you will see me in the next video. And as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. You will see me soon.